Probably last time I was here, 9 months ago, I was at the IB doing a talking show, and maybe I told this story about this guy I met who I called, it's a story called the Immortal, because that's what this guy's nickname was. But anyway, now the Immortal has the Immortal Part 2 on it, like Die Hard 1, Die Hard 2. This is kind of my 90s Christmas Rush Part 2 thing. I wanted to get it in for the season, you know. So, just for all of you who, you know, had to drink a glass of water that night and miss the show, I met this guy in 1985 in Houston, Texas, at the Lawndale Art Annex. This place I was doing a talking show, and it was a concept set, kind of like when Emerson, Lake and Palmer do a 9-album thing called Water. You know, it was a concept set, and all I talked about was depression, because depression, it makes you cut your hair short and wear black, write books and go on tour. So, I could fill the air with my fat face. And I talked about depression, you know, why and how and what the fuck could you do? And afterwards, this funky guy comes up to me, total alien, kook-looking guy, thick glasses, buzz-cut hairdo, I go oh, right on. I know this guy. I don't know him, but I like him. Can I talk to you a minute? Sure. You know that when you're talking about depression? Yeah. I only spent 2 hours doing it. Yeah? Well, I really identify with that, man. Okay, thanks. That's cool, man. I'm glad. Now, I really get into what you're saying about depression. I said, okay. I know what you're talking about. Okay. Good. Great. Man, I get into it, you know? Yes. What? Yes, got it. Can we talk? Can we change the subject? How about do you have a dog? He goes, man, a long time ago, I'm not going to repeat some southern Texas shit, but, he said, a long time ago, I was depressed, so I tried to kill myself. I go, when someone says I tried to kill myself, you're interested. But the fact that the guy is standing there telling you that leads you to believe that he was highly unsuccessful. And so you go, you really? I watched 20 hours of MTV and I'm still alive, but, So the natural, how did you try to kill yourself? Expecting to see the wrist turned back with a tiny scar. Well, I put on a Cure record and sunk my nail file in my wrist, You hear these stories and you're like, well, I'm glad you're better now. And so he goes, well, I tried to bleed to death by slashing my wrist. And I'm like, really? That's great. And he goes, see? And he pulls his wrist back and he's got a scar that goes from here to here. Like a big worm on his arm. I was like, damn, man. I go, you survived that? And he goes, well, barely. I nearly bled to death all over the floor. I was really fucked up. I said, man, that's wild. That's really deep. And he goes, yeah, but I survived it. I'm like, man, that is really something. I'm glad you're still here. And he said, well, I tried to kill myself again. I said, oh, really? Now what? He goes, I got a shotgun. Because, shotguns blow big holes and shit. What happened? Did you forget to pull the trigger? It's I shot it and I shot myself in the leg. And I look down, I swear I am not kidding. He has a fake leg. He has a plastic leg at the knee. It's summertime, it's shorts on. I'm like, that's a fake leg! He goes, yeah, I blew my leg off. And I'm sorry, man, I just started laughing. Man, you're fucking hot! You blew your leg off? And he's laughing too, because it is funny, He's like, yeah, I blew my leg off! Rock and roll, huh? So he says he went to the hospital and he made him better. And all the time they have him jacked on morphine because I guess it hurts. So he gets out of the hospital, Hopalong gets out of the hospital there And he's got a fake leg and a morphine habit, which he quenches with heroin. So he says, man, I was an amputee, got my arm half hacked off, and I'm on heroin. Life sucked. I'm like, damn, man. He goes, well, I'll tell you what. I learned something from the experience. I'm not on heroin anymore, and I'm still alive, and let me tell you something. I was like, what? He goes, man, I've been down. But, man, I'm never going down again. I was like, fuck, man, that's so cool. Yeah, because you meet a lot of people in your life, thousands of them, and most of them is like, next, because they don't, well, a lot of people you meet, they're nice people, sure, but they don't, either they don't share something like that with you, or chances are they don't have an experience like that to tell you. So you don't always remember everyone you meet. But then there's a few people who you really never forget. And I said, man, I'm never going to forget you. You're awesome, man. I mean, you're alive, you got a fake leg, your arm is fucked up. I'm glad you're still alive, And he left. All these people come up to me, you were talking to the immortal. I'm like, is that what you all call him? Yeah, man, the man who will not die. All right. So the next night, I was in New Orleans. I told the story. Man, I met this guy last night, the immortal, and I tell the story. So years later, I'm in the Rollins band. We're touring through the Midwest, and we end up in Kalamazoo, Michigan one night. And some guy walks up to me, and he goes, you remember me? I look at him. I go, yeah, I remember you. And when people say, do you remember me? And if you're an asshole and you don't, and you say, sure, that's the one day they go, oh, really? Where did you meet me? And you're like, at that show. Like, did you play my tape? Yeah, that's the one with a tape in it, right? With the guitar going, yeah, I played it. It's really great. So I said, yeah, I remember. He goes, really? And I went, yeah. And he had long pants on, and I just knelt down and I knocked on his fake leg. I go, you're the immortal. And he goes, you remember me? I go, man, I don't meet many guys who hack their fucking arm off and blow their leg off, beat heroin and live to tell about it. And I said, sure, I remember you, man. You're awesome. And so I go, what are you doing here? He goes, well, I moved to Kalamazoo. I said, wow. He goes, I like it here. I said, all right, man, good for you. So I said, how are you making it? He goes, well, hanging in there. I'm doing okay. I said, that's great. And so he goes away. These people come up to me, you know the immortal, man? I'm like, whatever. And so anyway, we play the show, bye immortal, and we leave. And go home. I go back home, and there's the answering machine, 80 million messages on it. I used to have my phone number listed. Man, oh, what a sucker, You saw click, Beep. You never were any good anyway? Beep. You us $40 million. Beep. Henry, this is your mother. Beep. Hell. So I usually just take the cassette out and just chuck it. But that's over with. Anyway, I play the messages back, and it's all those. And then one message comes on, and someone says, hi, this is, so-and-so from Kalamazoo, and I hope this is the right phone number, but I have a message, and the message is that the immortal shot himself a few days ago in the head, and he's dead, and I'm really sorry that I have to leave this on your message machine, but I thought you'd like to know. And man, I'm not that guy. I don't know what he's going through, but you would assume that after he cut his arm off, blew his leg off, heroin in and out of that bag, and survived, you'd think he's never going back there again. He said that, but number 3, he killed himself. And I was like, damn it, man. Oh well. It makes you kind of get all philosophical and like Bette Midler in one of those horrible movies. Life is, and at best, man, life gets really conceptual. Am I here or am I another cup of espresso? It just makes you go like, damn, man, I thought he was. Anyway, that's the Immortal Part 1.